It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the best show that you'll ever know. It's the Dep Lewis Show, and it's episode 58. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Saturday, December 2nd, 2023. So welcome to the show. You're getting it a little bit early since the show was missing last week. So welcome back to the Dep Lewis Show universe, episode 58. It's going to be a great one, and I hope you're doing well out there in the world. So thank you for joining the show. It's the first show here in December, so we are getting close to the holiday season for real. We're getting close to the Christmas in the United States. Everybody's buying their gifts and putting their decorations out and just getting all jolly and ready for it. So hopefully people are buying some video games for some people out there and for themselves as well. So this is the show about video games and much more. So that's what we're here to talk about today. We're going to catch up on 2 weeks of information since I've been making you wait with bated breath. I think that's how you say it, for the best video game information out there. So just thank you for bearing with me, and you're going to get 2 weeks of content. So how great is that? So let's get into it today. So the first order of business is to tell you some things to do to help me out, since I've barely given you a show, and I already want to ask you for some help. So it's pretty even, I'd say. Follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review. Turn on notifications and tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a squirrel, tell a bird, tell a cat, tell anyone. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. That email box stays open 24/7, 365, so you can slide on in there anytime you want to with anything you'd like. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Patreon, and more on my Bus Route page. Clips are on YouTube and TikTok, and twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. And then the ultimate place to follow is patreon.com/DepLewisShow. And on patreon.com/DepLewisShow, you can get a second weekly podcast exclusive to Patreon called the Dep Lewis Freestyle Show. This comes out midweek, exclusive to Patreon. The 4th episode just dropped today, actually. It was a little bit late as well, so just have some weird timing going on in the Dep Lewis Show universe this week. But more about Patreon at the end. So let's get into this show. So episode 58, we're going to catch up on 2 weeks of information. So we're going to have our 3 sections as always. The first section will be what I've been playing. So what video games have I've been playing. Talk about some of those. I have a lot of games to talk about. The prior week to the most current one, I was going back into a lot of games and playing those. So I have a lot of games to talk about. The mid section is where I talk about what I've been seeing across the video game landscape. So I have 2 weeks of information there. And I've added a few things in the current week. So, you got to get ready for all this great video game information. And the third section of the show today, the Miscellaneous Talk section, we're going to talk about a YouTube channel and a documentary I saw that was cool. And we're going to get into the worldwide world of sports. So that is the plan for the show today. So welcome to the show. That's the main thing to tell you here. And let's see here. Some notes from last show. I just want to tell myself to watch my ends and ums, the mic noises, do better, slow down in general is probably good advice. And a good reminder to do again, watch the you-knows. So these are all things I'm trying to practice on this great podcast. And I got a great exercise in freestyling earlier where I did not hit the timer and I went for 30 minutes. So at least I hit my threshold and I doubled it actually. So hopefully that's a great episode on the Patreon. So go watch that or listen to that now or after this show, and then we'll talk about that more at the end. So let's get into what I've been playing in the video game universe. So the first thing I've been playing is Marvel's Spider-Man 2. So I'm around 40% done with this game. I've been doing all the collectibles. I've been doing all the side missions. I've been really liking this game. I would say this is in contention for Game of the Year for the Dep Lewis Show for 2023. I like swinging around and flying around the city. I think it's one of the best open world maneuvering games that you can play right now. And that was one of the questions I heard Dan Reichert and Jibomb.com is doing their Game of the Year stuff currently, I believe. So they were talking about best open world movement or best movement in the game. And this was one of the contenders, and I definitely think this would be a great, a tough contender for the championship slot there, because moving around the city is so much fun. And I think they were even saying in the game that moving around the city is the best part of that game. And I don't know if I agree with that, excuse me, on my chair. My chair is being very loud. I need to correct that. But I don't know. I think the swinging is one of the great elements of this game. I think the other great elements are the combat and the story. So I think there's more to it than just swinging. But you could possibly say the most fun is the swinging part. So this was a really great game. I was making more progress on this earlier, in the first week of this Miss show. So I haven't played too much recently. I've been looking for some more podcast games recently. So that's what I've kind of been getting into in the most current week. Some games that I can play along with listening to a podcast. And Marvel Spider-Man 2, I like to play listening to the story and everything going on. Unless I am just trying to do open world stuff. But I've been keeping up with all the open world stuff for the most part. So I haven't had too much catching up to do. So Marvel Spider-Man 2, I would like to complete before the end of the year. Would be nice. I think that's a pretty feasible goal. But I think I've seen enough of the game to be able to speak on it in a manner that could qualify it for some pretty good awards on the Dep Lewis Show. So it's a pretty great game. I would recommend to anyone with a PlayStation, and Marvel Spider-Man 2 is living up to the hype, I would say. Okay, so let's talk about some more games I've been playing. This was a game that I've been playing a lot of this in the current week, and I've really been enjoying it, in Super Mario RPG. This is a remake of the SNES game, Super Nintendo game from back in the 90s, and I'm loving this game. Mallow is a great character in this game, and I've almost gotten to the point where I can meet Gino as a new character. I'm looking for him in these a forest maze, and I'm having some trouble finding him. So at the point I'm at right now, I need to use a guide and find some information on how to get through this maze. I've had to do this one other time in this game, but I'm a pretty huge noob when it comes to puzzles and exploration, so I think that's going to be the way to have to get through some of these stuff, or it is the way I get through some of the stuff with video games out there. But the things I like about this game are the music. I really like the combat. I like the timing in the combat. I like trying to defend. I like trying to get the extra damage. I like that it has an easy difficulty. That's been helping me a lot as well. I have actually died in some fights, so, I really am a noob. I'm not joking with you when I call myself a noob. But I really am enjoying this game. I found this game to be a little bit of a podcast game, especially when I'm just trying to do some leveling and churn out some battles. But I really do feel like the music and the story and everything like that is worthwhile to just to hear what's going on. But it's pretty cool. I think the RPG lane could be a good podcast lane for me. So I'm just I'm always trying to figure out what I like in the video game world, and I think I could be coming upon a new good combination here. What else have I said about this game? I like I'm having to look up some puzzles, but those solutions have been pretty simple. So I feel like I've been pretty close to these solutions that I missed, and that makes me feel a little bit less of a noob. I like the overworld map. Yeah, that's very helpful. It helps you get around. And there's it's just fun to explore. You can find some different save points. You can find a story. You can find somebody to talk to. And there's all sorts of really cool stuff going on. I like Mallow. Is he the best character of the year he possibly could be? I think I've determined, I'm going to say this again, for the game of the year for Dep Lewis Show. I think it's going to be the 31st of December. So it'll be a normal Sunday show. And it'll be the last day of the year. I think I'm going to do some different categories. So I'm going to have best game of the year. I'm going to have best character of the year. Best video game music of the year. And then best game from a prior year that I've been playing this year. So that could be things like Splatoon 3, wink, 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 a really great game out there. And talking about Super Mario RPG some more, the music in this game is great, and the game looks great. The Mario jumping around is fun. It just looks really great. It's a fun game to play. Turn-based RPG, I need to keep playing this. What I said, it's my main Switch game right now. I almost got Gino, I told you that already. And I love the music and the flow of this game. And it has really been a good podcast game, so I don't know if other people do that as well. I guess people probably do everything in the world that there is that you can think of, but I wonder how often people will listen to podcasts while playing RPGs. I guess it makes sense that you would, because RPGs can be long games that involves leveling, and I could be finding a really great thing of a way I can make some progress, because it is helpful for me to have something to do while I listen to podcasts, because I really like listening to them. So hopefully you're listening to the Dep Lewis Show right now and playing something like Sea of Stars or Final Fantasy 16 or the Super Mario RPG remake, or what's some other RPGs, or Persona 5, or whatever you want to be. As long as you're listening to the podcast, I really can't complain. Alright, so let's talk about some more video games I've been playing. So that's Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario RPG, and I've also been playing Forza Motorsport on the Xbox Series X. This game is available on Game Pass, so that's how I'm playing it. I've had a few different cars in this game. I started with the Mustang. I'm actually back doing some races with the Mustang, and that's pretty nice. I have a Subaru. I have a Porsche. And I've really been liking this game. I think this game is actually getting pretty high on my Game of the Year list. I think I've put at least 15 hours into it, so I've been playing a lot of this game. It's been a really great podcast game, and a game to like listen to music or be watching something else. Have some other noise going on, like sports or something. It's been really fun. I really like something I like about this game is the non-open world nature. So I think there was a time in video gaming, or it's still pretty prevalent, where every game wants to have an open world. I think for most games it is something that you want to work towards because it is a really fun thing. But I think in this instance, the non-open world, just going to the menu and selecting the race you want to get into, and then starting the practice and then doing the race, I think it's been really fun. It's just like a way to go through these. It gives you a little bit of variety in which race you want to do next, like which tournament. So they can go from, they're all really dependent on which car you're using, which style of car it is, from like a muscle car to a supercar, or something more simple like the Subaru I had, or there's different versions of the car. So it does give you some variety there, but you're basically just clicking it from the menu and getting into the race and completing it, and that's been really, really nice. And the races are fun. There's still great things to see as you're racing across these tracks. The scenery looks nice. The gameplay feels the same as the open world Horizons, and just a really great quality game. So I'm going to give it some pretty good consideration for my Game of the Year list. I don't know if it's going to top some of the really top contenders, but it's going to be right up there. I think probably towards the the middle, or the lower end of the top side of the game, the top 10 that I'm going to reveal at the end of the year. So Forza Motorsport's been really fun. I've been switching back. I was using the fidelity mode at first. I've been kind of going back and forth with myself on these with different games, based on different games. I was primarily doing performance mode for most things, so really leaning towards the frame rate is what I was looking towards. But more recently, I've been doing some more visual things and more visual choices. But on some games, I've been not liking it as much. So I've really just been taking it on a case by case basis. And for Forza, I'm going to recommend going towards the frame rate. I think it looks great. I think it makes the racing look better, and I think the scenery in the background looks great still too. So I don't think it's really taken away too much. I think it's just making the game, it just makes it look a little more defined or something, and easy to perform what you're trying to do, I guess what I'm trying to say. But I'm back to driving with my Mustang right now. It's still orange. I'm not a huge fan of that, but the cars in this game have been cool. The only one I didn't like, I have a Mercedes. That's like in the sedan race I did, and that was the only one that I really felt like when I was racing it that it wasn't moving quickly, and it just wasn't that fun to drive. So that's been the only, I think I've done 5 or 6 different tournaments or whatever they're called in this, and I think that's been the only one that's been a little bit of a hassle. All the rest have been fun. There's still some other races with like different style of cars that I might not like, but I'll be reporting back to you. I have no inclination of how much of this I want to finish. I definitely think I've seen a good bit of this game already, playing it for probably 15 hours or whatever it is to talk about it, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. And it's not something I'm like in a huge rush to complete. It's just something fun to play, and I've been playing a lot of it recently. So Forza Motorsport, very cool. It's on the Xbox Game Pass, so that's a very good example of a good reason to subscribe to Game Pass. And if you can also subscribe for a month if you just want to try it out. You don't have to pay full price for the game. You can subscribe to Game Pass for a month, and you can play this game as much as you want to within that month. So that's pretty nice. And then if you wanted to buy the game later on, you could keep all your progress and all that kind of thing. So very cool out there for the video game options. All right, so we're going to get into some more random video game territory. What I've been playing. I've been back playing some Rocket League a little bit. So, I'm back on the Fortnite train a little bit. I haven't played so much recently, but Rocket League is another great game that you can play for free. You don't have to pay for online to play this. That's a big plus, and it's a great game. The matches only take a couple minutes. It's a pretty good one to play solo because you're only playing on a 3-man team, so you can control a pretty good bit of the match by yourself. And I've just been having a lot of fun. I have this downloaded on all my I need to get this downloaded on Switch again just so I can have it on there, and maybe I did. I sometimes go back and forth on downloading stuff and taking things off, but I think Rocket League, it's definitely on my PlayStation and Xbox right now. When I downloaded it to PlayStation, a bunch of trophies popped up when I first logged in, so that was pretty nice. So I guess it recognized my Epic account and loaded all the trophies that I've achieved on playing on Xbox, I guess. So it was pretty cool, and it's working pretty seamless. I don't really have too many choices of like things I use for a car in this game, but I just like to get into the game and play. And some of my notes here, I wrote the unlocks and claim rewards thing seem to still be useless. Some of the banner unlocks are okay, and the car accessories, but not too much there. So I think it's a pretty hard sell for me on them selling me a battle pass or trying to get me to spend some actual money in this game. But the game is very fun. Rocket League's been out for a long time. I think possibly since 2017. I've probably played a good bit of it, over the course of those years, and it seems like I'm going to still continue doing that. So I've still been playing some game of this. It's a great podcasting game, and I feel like I actually have some Rocket League skills. So, shout out to Rocket League for putting a great thing out there, and I'm really liking, these days the games you don't have to pay to play online, things that are easy to jump into, and Fortnite and Rocket League are really, scratching those itches pretty good. Let's see, we're going to talk about Fortnite? No, we're not. We'll talk about Fortnite a little bit right now. So Fortnite has some new things going on. The new Chapter 5 starts this upcoming week, I believe. So I'm going to put it on the docket for next week to dive into what's actually going on in Fortnite. But the M&M skins are in the game, looking pretty cool, being pretty tempting. And the other announcement is Peter Griffin and Solid Snake are coming to Fortnite. So I'm going to save a lot of that talk for next week. But some pretty cool things to Fortnite. Our night crew is back in business, so you should hear some more Fortnite talk. Possibly you could see a stream of me playing some Fortnite with my homies and eating some chicken wings, some hot dogs and bolognas, and playing some games. So we'll see. But Rocket League is very fun. Fortnite is too. So let's talk about some games. These are pretty much from the prior week since I missed 2 weeks. These games are from 2 weeks ago, but I was playing some Elden Ring again. So this is something I've played before, played a good bit of. Have a couple different files, and I've started a new file. So I looked up online what was the best for a noob, like a beginner's build, and they said to go with a vagabond and going for a strength type build. So that's what I'm doing. But I also have a magic character that I should maybe restart so I could spec it in a particular way. But I don't know. I've kind of slowed down on the Elden Ring in the last week, but I was kind of taking it as a good podcasting game of something that. All you're really doing is leveling your character in this game and trying to get to the end. It's not really too story driven. There's nothing really you need to be seeing or hearing too much besides like enemies coming up on you. But you're generally kind of like going towards the enemy. So I was kind of taking it as a podcasting game and enjoying it as that. So I think Elden Ring is going to be something that I just kind of keep going back to over time and playing some more of. And maybe one day it's really going to hook for me in a time where I have nothing else to play, and then I really play a lot of it. But it's a game that I'm glad that I own, and I've been, getting back into it some. So I've been playing on the PlayStation, and I'm just taking it slow and trying to treat it as a level up fest is what I wrote. So I'm focusing on the vagabond and sword fighting, trying to use the shield. I'm having trouble figuring out the parry timing and when to block successfully with the shield, but I think that's a good thing I need to figure out. I wrote here, I think I like the magic more, so maybe I should switch. And maybe I can refund my runes on my magic character. So that's something I want to check into, but I don't know. I might just be going with the vagabond for a bit. And I was using visual mode, and I'm now back to using performance mode on this. So I really could I just tried to shy away from performance mode and go see the visuals, and now I'm back to performance. So I don't know, but I think just for your own personal preference, you should try it out and kind of play whatever works for you. I think they're pretty interchangeable and have just kind of small changes from what I'm seeing in most games, but I definitely like having the option and being able to look at it. So something else I was playing, and these were games. This was a game I was trying to play some for some like end of the year consideration, and that's Hi-Fi Rush. Came out earlier in the year. I restarted this. Chai is the main character, and then Hi-Fi Rush, just so you know, a reminder, is a rhythm-based action game developed by Tango Gameworks and published by Bethesda Softworks for Windows and Xbox Series X and S platforms. So I got back into this just for maybe one session. So I don't know if it's the game for me. I think if I had nothing else to play, I definitely could play it and enjoy it, but I just don't know if it's going to make its way into the rotation for games I'm playing. But it definitely seems high quality and fun. And definitely something good there. So I don't know. Had a couple good, turns with this game. If I play it a little bit more, I think it could possibly see some contention on the end of the game of the year list for me. But I don't know. I think it'll be on a lot of game of the year list in general. So that's good for the game as a whole. So some other games I've been playing throughout these 2 weeks that I've missed. I wanted to shout out Janet Garcia from MinMax and PS I Love You and other different shows across the internet. She does a whole lot. And she's, just shout out to her for making me feel okay about playing so many games. She was just casually talking on the MinMax show about, she's playing 14 games right now, and she was adding a new one. So I think Hanson mentioned a new game, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to actually add that onto my list. I think I have 14, so that makes 15. And she was, talking about it like it was just everyday business. So I really need to quit complaining about that and just play the games I feel like playing, and that's what I'm going to do. So some other games I've been playing throughout the course of these 2 weeks have been Pikmin 4, Alan Wake 2, Risk of Rain Returns, Fortnite, Humanity, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I really don't think I've made any significant progress on any of those games besides just maybe keeping up with some Fortnite stuff, but I'm going to make that as a goal for next week to talk about Fortnite in the midsection and get a breakdown of what's going on. I think the OG season's over, and I want to figure out what's going on with the new chapter that's going on, and Peter Griffin and Solid Snake. So that's the plan for next week, and hopefully I will deliver on that plan. So listen to this and write it down, make myself a note. So that's going to wrap up this first section of the show. We talked about all the games we've been playing in these last 2 weeks since I last talked to you here on the Dep Lewis Show. I've been playing Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario RPG, Forza Motorsport, Rocket League, Elden Ring, Hi-Fi Rush, and then a few others I want to just mention I was playing. Just kind of jumping back in some of these: Pikmin 4, Alan Wake 2, Risk of Rain Returns, Fortnite, Humanity, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So that's going to wrap up this first section about all the great video games I've been playing. And we're going to come back to the midsection of the show, and we're going to talk about all the great video games of the world, all the video game news, all the releases, all the things going on across the video game landscape from the past 2 weeks. And got a whole lot of information in there, a whole lot of great things you're going to want to know about and hear about and learn about. So just get your ears ready. Come back for the midsection in just a few. And just thank you for being a listener. See you in just a second. Welcome back to the midsection of the world famous Dep Lewis Show, episode 58. This is the news section, the what's going on across the video game world section, the what's going on across the video game landscape section, and that's what we're here to talk about. So let's get into it. We got 2 weeks of info I want to tell you about, so get ready. The first thing I want to tell you about is the game of the year for the Dep Lewis Show for 2022. That is Splatoon 3. There was a Splatfest that happened, 2 weekends ago, and I want to just highlight the Splatfest victor. The victor was not Team Fist Bump, which I was a part of, and I hope you were a part of too, but the victor was Team Handshake. So, the best greeting right now, according to Splatoon 3, is a handshake and a fist bump and a team and a hug. We'll have to wait till next time to try to win the best greeting. So I fought pretty hard for Team Fist Bump. I actually played a good bit of that a good bit of Splatoon 3 that weekend. I really liked the ink color for Team Fist Bump, but we didn't get the victory, so it's pretty sad. And one thing, Splatfests are apparently more frequent towards the end of the year, so maybe we'll see one soon, hopefully for the holidays. And Japan had its own Splatfest, and people seem to play a lot of both, so just happy to see that for Splatoon in general, that this has been the first time in Splatoon 3 that they split the Splatfest goals up between the regions, and it seems like both regions enjoyed it, so that's what you ultimately hope for. So Splatoon 3, a really great game, and just go play some Splatoon 3. It's awesome. All right. Another game that has been released, that I just want to highlight. It was a November release. It came out on the 17th, November 17th, 2023. That's Persona Tactica. This came out for Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and Microsoft Windows. So a whole lot of platforms. This is a tactical role-playing game developed by Peace Studio and published by Sega. It's a spin-off from the Persona series. It's $60 US dollars. The back of the box talk on this is: after a strange incident, the Phantom Thieves wander into a bizarre realm where its citizens are living under tyrannical oppression. Surrounded by a military group named Legionnaires, they find themselves in grave danger until a mysterious revolutionary named Irina — I hope her name's Irina and it's not like Erica or something, but Erina, rescues them and offers an enticing deal in exchange for their help. What truth lies behind Irina and the deal she offers to the Phantom Thieves? It features an all-new story, the return of fan-favorite characters, and brand new allies and foes. Join the group as they lead an emotional revolution in this thrilling combat adventure. So I like the Persona series a whole lot. I really like the music and the soundtracks of the series. Maybe I probably listened to them more than I've actually played the games, but I played a good bit of... I played some Persona 4 Golden, and I played Persona 5 Regular and Royale, so could be some things I play in the future, but I just want to highlight this game came out because I bet a lot of people will want to play this. Because especially if you're a Persona fan, you're probably trying to get all the content you can of Persona. Alright, another game I want to talk about is something that I've been hearing a lot about just over the course of the year and more recently with different outlets and sites and podcasts talking about their Game of the Year plans and talking about some like hidden gems and just getting their list together. And this has been a game that I've definitely missed and I want to bring up on this show so I can, keep you well informed out there as a Dep Lewis Show listener. So there's a game called Dredge, Dredge. It released on March 30th, 2023. It's available now for Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. It is an indie fishing video game developed by New Zealand studio Black Salt Games and published by Team 17. So we've had Dave the Diver this year, and we've also had another fishing game called Dredge. The game follows a fisherman who encounters increasingly Lovecraftian creatures as he ventures out further into an open-world archipelago. Archipelago. Shit, I don't know why I'm not saying that word right, but you know what I mean. Alright, so Lovecraftian, a definition. I wanted to look this up, and I thought this was interesting. And I wrote this, and I think Nextlander was talking about Dredge this week too, and they were bringing up Lovecraftian, and they were trying to explain what it was. And I was like, man, I have I knew what they were talking about already because I had just looked it up, so that was just great timing. And the definition of Lovecraftian, if you didn't know, is relating to or reminiscent of the work of the U.S. fantasy and horror writer H.P. Lovecraft. So Howard Phillips Lovecraft, he lived from 1890 to 1937, and especially in depicting monstrous, misshapen beings from another dimension or universe, often in sinister, antiquated New England settings. So the thing Vinny was bringing up was, hey, couldn't it be some of this Lovecraftian things are set in the South, possibly like Louisiana, and I think Alex was telling him, hey, it's mainly set around New England. So I think that's the main region or area for something that's Lovecraftian by this definition. So Dredge right now is $24.99 on Nintendo Switch. And, the back of the box talk on this, some more of that is a single-player fishing adventure with a sinister undercurrent. Captain your fishing trawler. Is that a real word? I guess. It's crazy when you prepare a show for 2 weeks, you don't necessarily remember these things that you've written here. And I didn't think of it when I wrote it down to be like, what is a trawler? But I guess that's correct. So captain your fishing trawler to explore a collection of remote isles and their surrounding depths to see what lies below. Sell your catch to the locals and complete quests to learn more about each area's troubled past. Outfit your boat with better equipment to trawl. It says it again, so it must be, some deep sea stuff. So trawl some deep sea trenches and navigate to far off lands, but keep an eye on the time. You might not like what you find in the dark. So Dredge seems cool. I've only really heard positive things about it. I don't know if I have time to get to it, but I wanted to make sure that you were aware of it out there in the world. So that was what talking about Dredge was for. So let's get into another bit of news. So there has been 25 years of Half-Life, so a quarter of a century. So Valve just released a 25th anniversary update for Half-Life that adds a whole bunch of new content, some welcome quality of life upgrades, and even Steam Deck support, according to an announcement on the Half-Life website. That game, when I looked, I guess this was 2 weeks ago or a week ago, was 90% off, and it was 99 cents, so that's a pretty good deal. Half-Life is 1998 first-person shooter game developed by Valve Corporation and published by Sierra Studios for Windows. It was Valve's debut product and the first game in the Half-Life series. The player assumes the role of Gordon Freeman, a scientist who must escape the Black Mesa research facility after it is invaded by aliens following a disastrous scientific experiment. The gameplay consists of combat, exploration, and puzzle solving. And so some new features that they are including with this update. The game now includes Half-Life Uplink, a mini campaign that was originally available only on CDs from magazines and hardware manufacturers. So pretty cool. So especially if you're just someone who this is your favorite game, if you're going to get some more content, some more pretty exclusive releases in one bundle, that's pretty great. There were 4 new multiplayer maps that Valve says push the limits of what's possible in the Half-Life engine. Valve also added maps and multiplayer character models from a CD called Half-Life Further Data. New settings include the ability to play with a widescreen field of vision and support for a proper gamepad configuration. Game UI has been updated for larger screens. It is now Steam Deck verified, meaning it should work well on the Steam Deck without any fiddling, is what Steam Deck verified basically means. There's also a Danny O'Dwyer doc out there. The great Danny O'Dwyer, definitely a fan of him. He's been on a lot of Giant Bomb content. He's over there at NoClip, and he just does some great work all around. So go check out anything Danny O'Dwyer does. And he has directed the 25th anniversary doc that Valve just uploaded to its YouTube channel. I watched part of this, and I plan on watching the rest of it when I can. But it's directed by Danny O'Dwyer, and Danny was on MinMax the prior week, so go check that out too if you want some more information right from the horse's mouth on a great platform about video games as well, the MinMax show. So pretty cool, 25 years of Half-Life. I really got introduced to that with the Orange Box back in the day and played Portal and Team Fortress, and definitely played some Half-Life. And one of my friends, the great Pab that you all hear about, he tried to carry I think it was a gnome. I think it was in Half-Life 1 or Half-Life 2. And I'm pretty sure it was that game. I don't know if it was Portal, but he carried a gnome for most of this game. I don't know if he completed it, but I just have this memory of him talking about carrying this gnome forever. And I do remember a lot of anger there, so I don't know if he got it to the end. But I think it either pissed him off for a long way, and then he had to let it go or something like that. But pretty great history with that franchise, and pretty cool that there's a Danny O'Dwyer doc. So, go support Danny O'Dwyer. He's awesome. So something else I want to talk about is a piece of hardware that I think is cool. I think it's sold out right now, so I don't think that's the greatest time to talk about it. But they, have different pre-orders and stuff like that, and that's the Analogue Pocket. So it's just something I've never talked about, I don't think, on this show, and I wanted to tell you about it. So it's a multi-video game system portable handheld. It's a digital audio workstation as well with a built-in synthesizer and sequencer. So that's something I learned when I was researching that. And they say it's a tribute to portable gaming. Out of the box, Pocket is compatible with a 2,780 plus Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance game cartridge library. Pocket works with the cartridge adapters for other handheld systems too, like Game Gear, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Atari Lynx, and more. Completely engineered in 2 FPGAs with no emulation. So Analogue Pocket is designed around a first-in-class 3.5-inch 6.5 ppi LCD with a 1600 by 1440 resolution. Pocket has 10 times the resolution of an original Game Boy, and they say they can hardly believe it either. It has pro-level color accuracy, dynamic range, and brightness is what they're touting. The display is even made from Gorilla Glass. There has never been a display this advanced in a video game system, is what they're saying. You can play Pocket on the big screen too. Analogue Dock is an amazing companion for Pocket. With Dock, you can connect Pocket to your HD TV, sync up any wireless 8-bit DOE, Bluetooth, or 2.4G controller directly to Dock for wireless play. Up to 4-player support, you can connect controllers directly via wired USB as well. So regular systems will run you $220 US dollars, but are all sold out from what I can see. And limited edition systems were $250 US dollars, but they're all sold out as well. But the limited editions, you can get some really cool colors. And these shipped out to people on November 20th, 2023 who pre-ordered them apparently. So on their website, you can go right there now and click notify me when in stock. I think it lets you put your email in there, and they will notify you when these are in stock. This would be really cool if you already had a collection of Game Boy games to want to play, but it's something that could be interesting to get into as well if you're just trying to get back into some of these things. It could be really cool to have a system like this with a few games. I definitely I went to a video game store recently and they had some Game Boy games. It's probably more common of a thing you can find them, or you can order them off eBay. So it's just there's a little bit of meat there. I'd like to chew off that bone, I guess, and see what's up with that. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and something I'm interested in as well. New hardware and stuff like that is really cool. All right, so let's get into the more current week side of the news things. These are things that I've been typing in the most current week of stuff I want to tell you about. So the first thing is a game called Dragon's Dogma 2. And, one of the main things on the internet about this game is it marks Capcom's first $70 base price game. So we've been seeing that trend across the video game universe with the games going up from $60 to $70. I think it's just the way of the world. I don't think there's anything we can do to stop it. I really don't think it's crazy to show the outrage over it when you kind of knew it was coming. And it's just Street Fighter 6 even earlier in the year was $60, not $70. A lot of people were surprised by that, so I don't think you should be surprised by this. But Dragon's Dogma 2 is the much anticipated role-playing game about dragons and pawns. It came out swinging with a hefty new gameplay showcase on the 28th of November, showing off the impressive character creator and some spectacular combat, and officially revealing the March 24, 2024 release date. So more about just the game in general, Dragon's Dogma, since I've only ever really seen Jeff Gerstmann play some of the first Dragon's Dogma, and that was pretty much in the last year or so. He was like running back through that game, and it looked pretty cool. But it's a single-player, narrative-driven action RPG that challenges players to choose their own experience from the appearance of their, I'm not going to get this word right, Arisen, Arisen, their vocation, their party, how to approach different situations, and more. On your journey, you'll be joined by pawns, mysterious, otherworldly beings, in an adventure so unique you will feel as if accompanied by other players while on your own adventure. Dang. All these elements are elevated further by physics, technology, artificial intelligence, and the latest in graphics, made possible with the RE engine to create a truly immersive fantasy world in Dragon's Dogma 2. And I just wrote that people seem mad about this being $70. Previous Capcom games this year have only been $60, like Resident Evil 4 Remake and Street Fighter 6. But, everyone's all about the almighty dollar out here. So if they can get, $10 more, they're going to sell, 10, 20 million copies of this game or something like that would be my guess. I'm really just shooting out thin air, but, it can make a pretty good difference. And, all the other companies are doing it, so the backlash won't be too much. So it's par for the course, unfortunately, from us on the consumer side. But you just got to be wise with your dollars out there is all the what we can do on our side. So Dragon's Dogma 2 coming in March 2024. Another game that looks, I really like the title and I like the whole aesthetic of it. It's called Bear and Breakfast. It looks very cozy. It's headed to PS5 and PS4 on December 12, 2023. The publisher is Armor Game Studios and the developer is Gummy Cat. They announced the laid-back management adventure game will be coming to PS4 and PS5 on the 12th of December. The game first released for PC via Steam in July 2022 and for the Nintendo Switch in September 2022. There was a trailer to announce this. It is more about it again, laid-back management adventure game where you play as a well-meaning bear trying to run a B&B in the woods, a bed and breakfast. Hank, which is a great name, and his friends find an abandoned shack and, equipped with their teenage ingenuity, turns it into a money-making bed and breakfast scheme for unsuspecting tourists. As your business expands, so do the mysteries of the forest, and Hank soon finds himself uncovering a plot deeper than the wilderness itself. So, it seems very cool. Seems like something I should play at some point, and I probably will, and I'll tell you about it. So, Bear and Breakfast is heading to PS4 and PS5 on December 12th, so get ready for it. Alright, the next thing is Cyberpunk DLC, the Phantom Liberty DLC. I want to talk about the sales figures for this just for a second. So they're touting that it is sold over. We were just talking about, sales for Street Fighter 6, but Phantom Liberty DLC has sold over 4.3 million copies in 2 months. And CD Projekt Red is saying this is an important achievement given our plans to further develop the franchise. So they're touting it as a massive success. I've been trying to watch some content of this, but I've used this word already earlier, but I just don't think I like the aesthetic of this game for whatever it is. I just don't think I enjoy looking at it. Vinny from Nextlander is playing through this in a really cool series. I think they're starting there where he's just going to play through the game. And so please go watch that and go support Nextlander. And it's a great place to go watch, some of this content if you want to. Apparently Idris Elba is all over this DLC. And I just don't think I'm a fan of the way this game looks. I would say I like CD Projekt Red a whole lot just from The Witcher 3, but I don't know what it is about Cyberpunk. I've tried to like it a few different times, and it just hasn't got there for me yet. But they're not missing out on my sale because they have sold over 4.3 million copies of that DLC in 2 months. So pretty successful. So I just want to highlight that. So some more news. There's an Xbox November update coming. It's rolling out just in time for the holiday season. And you can learn more about this on Xbox website, but you can learn more about the compact mode available in the Xbox app on PC, a console wish list, notifications for Xbox free play days, Japanese language support for keyboards, and more. So something I've noticed already with this is them recommending games to me in a better manner. So you can look at like games for me, and most of the games on there are things that I've been interested in or looked at before, so I think that's pretty useful. And then they've also been offering like a deal they say is specific to me, so I don't know how that technically works, but it's offering Star Wars Jedi Survivor to me for only $35. So I don't know if they've seen this in my cart before or on my wish list. I don't know if they're offering it to other people as well, but it's pretty cool that they're picking out a game. That's a $70 game and offering it to me for half price. So, I don't think I'm going to purchase it just because I have too many other things going on. But, they caught my attention for that bit. And, I'm talking about on the show is like a good sales tactic. So it's just something to note and something I wanted to make you aware of and something to check it on your Xbox. Because, if you're listening to the show, maybe you listen to this show for video game information. You don't follow it as closely. So, having things like this on the console where it can, where it can surface things to you to see that are going to be useful to you and it's actually correct. It's using the algorithm for good. So, those things can sometimes be helpful. So, Xbox November update is rolling I guess it's already out. I guess that's something I missed because I did see it asked me when I signed into my Xbox one of these days recently if I wanted to accept them, recommending things to me based on my purchase history or whatever it may be. So I think it's out now. So go check out the new Xbox update. Their UI is very, very good in general. All right, a couple more things to talk about in this mid section. This one's not really, this one's video game related just because of the subject matter, and that's Sonic. And Sonic 3 movie has gotten, I don't know if it got the release date, but maybe it did. But it's coming out on December 20th, 2024, so I wanted to mention that. It's an action comedy film based on the video game franchise published by Sega. Jeff Fowler directs the film from a script by Pat Casey and Josh Miller. Ben Schwartz does the voice for Sonic. And Jim Carrey is the mad scientist, Dr. Robotnik. So, just really cool. I think these movies do pretty well. I think I've seen the first one. I don't think I've seen the second one, so I'd want to see that at some point. But, I'm a fan of these movies coming out. I like some video game movies that are actually good. And I have so this is on my list of things I want to watch. Excuse me. Recording a Saturday night podcast over here yawning. But the Sonic movie looks pretty cool, so it's coming out soon. All right, another big news. The last two things are pretty big, and two games I'm interested in, and two games I want to buy whenever they come out. And the first one is Grand Theft Auto 6. We have a countdown going right now. If you can go to IGN.com, and there's a countdown right now until this day. But you can see the first trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out on December 5th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Eastern. So we'll cover that next week on the Dep Lewis Show, but interested to see what they're going to show us. I'm interested to see if they're going to show us, a time frame for the release. I would love for this game to come out next year. That would be pretty amazing. And, hopefully I guess that's my biggest wish for it. I don't really have too many preferences on where it should be or what location or anything like that. But I would like it to come out next year, so that's going to be my hope. So GTA 6, we're getting a trailer on the 5th. So that is what? That's Tuesday. So look forward to that. And just go watch that countdown on IGN till then. You can just watch the time tick away until the GTA 6 trailer. The last game I want to talk about in this midsection is Hades 2. There was a PC gaming show trailer. This is a Supergiant game, so it's the follow-up to the original Hades. Early access is supposed to be out, available in early 2024. And then Hades 2 is the bewitching sequel to the roguelike dungeon crawler in which you'll battle beyond the underworld using dark sorcery to take on the Titan of Time. So everything I've seen from this game so far looks amazing. I'm really a big fan of Hades 1. The main character in Hades 2 looks almost even cooler than the first guy. And I really just can't wait to play this, and I want to play it on Switch. I don't know if, I don't think early access is going to be on Switch, that you could see me possibly buying this on my computer. I just have a MacBook. It's not the most, gaming friendly thing, but I think it could possibly run something like Hades. But it's a great game to play in handheld. It'd be a great game for Steam Decks and a great game for Switches everywhere. So I was hoping to see some more information from this, but it looks like they were just putting out this trailer to drum up some support. And, hey, I'm here to support it because it looks amazing. So that is going to wrap up the midsection of this show for episode 58 today. So let's cover all the things we talked about just on a high level, just tell you about them again. We talked about Splatoon 3. We talked about Persona Tactica release. We talked about Dredge. We covered that. We talked about the 25 years of Half-Life anniversary. We talked about the Analogue Pocket. We talked about Dragon's Dogma 2. We talked about Bear and Breakfast, Cyberpunk DLC, Phantom Liberty. We talked about the Xbox November update. We talked about the Sonic 3 movie, the GTA 6 upcoming trailer, and Hades 2 had a PC gaming show trailer. So a lot of great information there in the midsection of the show this week. And I thank you for listening. Hope you found some of that interesting, and I hope you found all of it interesting, because that is the plan. So we're going to take one more break. We're going to come back for the final section of the show, the Miscellaneous Talk section. We're going to tell you about a cool YouTube channel and a cool doc I watched, and then we're going to get into the worldwide world of sports. So not too much to talk about in the Miscellaneous Talk section. So, even if you're not the biggest sports fan, come back and you have some great talk, and, can hear me gripe about the Panthers a little bit, because there's some pretty good stuff to gripe about there. So, just listen to this wonderful music and come back for the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 58, in just a few. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 58. This is the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. So, a few things I want to tell you about here. The first thing is a YouTube channel I like a lot. It's called Channel 5 by Andrew Callaghan, and the Great Ballness reminded me of this recent drop on there. I've watched most of the things on Channel 5's YouTube channel, but they haven't had a lot of uploads recently. But in the last couple months, they've been uploading some new stuff, so I've been missing out on it. And the most recent one is a documentary on San Francisco, and it was very interesting. And then they had a separate one that got a little more in-depth about Jack the Bipper. So I learned about bipping, which is breaking into cars. So hopefully no one out there is getting bipped. And, they're teaching you the art of bipping. So just I like that word. I hope my car never gets bipped. Hope I never have to resort to bipping, but this was just very interesting. His documentaries are so cool and so interesting, and he asks great questions, and he lets these people talk, and just really good stuff. So he's also promoting his show on HBO Max, so I haven't watched that, but go check it out. It's called This Place Rules. He has a lot of great content on YouTube, and then he'll even tell you, hey, there's more to this particular documentary on Patreon. So the great website, patreon.com/DepLewisShow, but Channel 5 and Andrew have Patreon as well, so go support them if you like the content, and go check them out on YouTube first. It's a great place to try it out. But there were some other ones I caught up on. The Calgary Stampede up there in Canada. There was one about the rally, about an Israel rally. So he's doing some documentaries there. He has one on Palestine as well. Just giving some information out there. I'm not going to try to give an opinion on that, because I just hope everyone's okay. Don't like people getting hurt either way. So that's all I can really offer to that conversation. And he had another one about the Q Shaman coming home. So very interesting. Mr. Q Shaman, I forget what his name is. He came home from jail after like 40 months in solitary confinement. And Andrew got the first interview with him out of jail. So just very interesting getting to meet people. They throw like a welcome home party for him, and just very interesting stuff. So just go check it out. You don't have to necessarily agree with all of it or whatever that may be, but just interesting information, and the way he shoots his content is really cool. So go check out Channel 5, and that's just my plug for some cool documentaries. I was also plugging the No Clip documentary about the 25th anniversary of Half-Life. So that's something I watched part of, and then I also watched Tim Dillon had someone on his podcast this week. Just go check out the feed if you're listening in real time. I think her name was Katie something. It was a documentary on Palestine that's on YouTube, and I watched that, and it was an interesting watch too. And just sad stuff going on all over there and all across the world though in general. So just good to get some more information in your brain when you can, some different perspectives. So a little bit of that here in the Miscellaneous Talk section. So now let's get into something that provides some great entertainment for me, and that is the worldwide world of sports. Let's talk about the official NFL team of the Dep Lewis Show, the Carolina Panthers. So it's been 2 weeks. Last time I talked to you, the Cowboys were in town causing a lot of noise in the background of my podcast. Panthers lost. It wasn't even close. There was no offense. Same story, different day. And then the Panthers against the Titans. Yeah, they lost to the Titans, right? I'm going to look this up in real time, because the Panthers play the Bucs tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, they play the Bucs. Titans game must have not even been close. I don't really remember anything from that game. 17-10, no offense. Yeah, 18 of 31 for Bryce, 194 yards. Chuba rushed for 45 yards. Mingo was the leading rusher with 60. Yeah, just nothing. Just not very fun to watch, and they fired the head coach after that game. So that's the main thing I want to talk about this week. And they also fired Frank Reich, they fired Deuce Staley and Josh McCown, Chris Tepper. Yeah, look, we got 2 weeks to cover up. So they played the Titans. They lost to the Titans. It was reported after that game that David Tepper was screaming the F word, come out of the locker room, being upset. And then the next day, Frank Reich gets fired. They put Chris Tabor as the interim head coach. He's a special team coach, he's interim. And his first decisions were to fire Deuce Staley and Josh McCown. So Thomas Brown is back to the play calling, and Chris Tabor is the head ball coach. We got the press conference with Tepper, which was short and sweet. A lot of people were saying they wish they had more questions, but it was probably 10 or 15 minutes. The thing that a lot of people were pointing to was he was touting how many events that Bank of America Stadium has put on in the current year as opposed to the prior year, and touting it as a success. So I don't know. I've talked about it on the Dep Lewis Freestyle show today, but I just think they need to do some rethinking, some retooling, re-strategizing, and focus, and stick to a plan. And they need to make a plan and stick to it. Is really what they need to do. And they keep hitting the reset button every 5 seconds, and you're never going to make any progress hitting the reset button. You need to make a decision and go through with it. And even if it doesn't work, at least you have given it a valid effort, and not, they're barely getting off the starting line with some of these movements that they're doing. So Panthers are in a really bad spot. They played the Buccaneers tomorrow. It's a 4 p.m. start. Then they're at the Saints, and I believe it's the Falcons back at home. And then I think they have another one against the Bucs and the Packers. Maybe might be all the ones to end the season. Maybe there's one more in there, but Panthers are in a bad spot. I think J.C. Horn, Jeremy Chin, and Gross Matos are back tomorrow, so that's a good thing, a good sign for the defense. The Bryce Young talk is getting pretty hot out there, and just not happy with them. But I'm going to keep watching, going to keep supporting, going to keep talking about him, and go Brian Burns. Hope he has a big day Sunday. I do like watching him a whole lot, and just wish him the best. All right, the official team of the Dep Lewis Show is the Atlanta Braves, and the official sport is Major League Baseball. So what I want to say, I just want them to extend Max Fried. The Atlanta Brave bullpen is pretty stacked right now. They still have all these open roster spots. I think they really need to sign a starter and an outfielder at least. Are we going to see a trade go down? Are we going to see Vaughn Grissom playing in the outfield? We're going to see Vaughn Grissom get traded. There hasn't been too much baseball news recently, but besides the Cardinals signed Sonny Gray. So that is friend of the show and friend in real life, Sanfi. That's his team. They locked up Sonny Gray for 3 years for $75 million. We're still on Shohei watch and Yoshi watch, and a possible Juan Soto trade watch. So a lot of speculation and great news stories to read out there now, but not a whole lot of things going down quite yet. So I think the winter meetings start pretty soon. So hopefully I have some great Braves transactions to report to you here on the Dep Lewis Show. But the Braves start back March 28th, 2024. I am very excited for that. I'm really wanting the Braves possibly to sign Juan Soto and get a starter. I've read some Dylan Cease some trade talks. After looking that up, I think that could be a pretty great combination with Strider. So I would say I'm in favor of that. And I'm also in favor of any big splash moves they'd like to make. The Braves aren't normally into doing that, but I myself am into some big splash moves, and I would like to see it happen for my favorite franchise. So I think the Braves are in a pretty good spot with most of their contracts on the team, so I think it is time for them to spend a little more than they normally would. So that would be my recommendation here from the Dep Lewis Show, episode 58, as the official fan, and they're the official team of the Dep Lewis Show is all I want to say. And now, the Braves are the best. Panthers are pretty great, and my other teams, the Hawks and the Hornets, been doing okay. I think the Hawks have one of the at least top offenses going right now, and that's pretty good. I think LaMelo's banged up for the Hornets, but I think Brandon Miller's been playing pretty great. So, maybe I'll go see a Hornets game. I think they come back to town this upcoming week. So we will see. I definitely love the sports. There's a lot of football going on today. In Charlotte, North Carolina today, the ACC Championship's going on. So there's Florida State and Louisville people in town. And Alabama won the SEC Championship earlier, so that's going to make the playoff get a little bit interesting. And trying to watch some of this Michigan and Iowa game right now. It looks like it's at halftime, so going to watch the end of that and get ready for Sunday football. So just another great episode of the Dep Lewis Show in the books, and another great miscellaneous talk section. So thank you for listening to this. We talked about Channel 5 and Andrew Callaghan's new documentary on YouTube. Go check that out about San Francisco. The Carolina Panthers play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tomorrow, if you're listening real time, at 4 p.m. against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Braves are, just getting ready for a bunch of great postseason moves. So hopefully I'll be reporting some news to you on the Dep Lewis Show one of these upcoming weeks. So let's reiterate some stuff from the beginning. So some more stuff from the beginning. Let's see here. So if you'd like to help the show out more than just listening like you've already done, which is already a world of help, but please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Patreon, and more on my Buzzsprout page. Clips are on YouTube and TikTok. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. And then Patreon.com/DepLewisShow is the greatest place to follow, especially if you subscribe to the ground floor tier for $1 a month for a second weekly podcast exclusive to Patreon called the Dep Lewis Freestyle Show. Let me tell you more about that right now. The Dep Lewis Freestyle Show. So $1 a month for the ground floor tier for the first 100 patrons only. With this tier, you will gain access to an additional weekly podcast exclusive to Patreon called the Dep Lewis Freestyle Show. This podcast releases midweek and is a great way to get additional content and support the show. Patreon also has ad-free versions of all the Dep Lewis Shows off series and plus more on there. It's another great benefit to subscribing to Patreon. After the first 100 patrons, the regular price for this tier will begin. So ground floor tier pricing will never change and will gain access to all Dep Lewis Show Patreon content always. So that is an investment for your entertainment future and for your immediate future. So just thank you for the support. Thank you for listening. We're getting close to the end of the year. We're going to have some Game of the Year coming up. I think I'm going to do Game of the Year on the 31st. It lines up the last day of the year. It's actually on a Sunday. So it should be a great day to do the Game of the Year discussions. I think I want to have some different categories for my Game of the Year discussions this year. I want to do Game of the Year. I want to do Best Character of the Year. I want to do Best Video Game Music of the Year. And I want to do Favorite Game from a prior year of the year. So we're going to have some categories this year, plus the top 10. I don't currently know what my favorite game of the year is. I think there's 3 games in main contention, possibly 2 more that could jump into there, and a couple other games that I possibly want to play and purchase before the end of the year to try them out and see what I can decide on what the best game of the year is. So very fun stuff. Thank you for all the support of the show. Thank you for listening as always. I hope you have a great week out there. I hope you have a great work week. I hope you play a lot of video games. I hope you make a lot of money. I hope you get to hang with your friends and family. I hope you get to pet a cute dog. I hope you get to eat something good, get to drink something good, and I just hope you have a great week, and just thank you for listening to this show as always. And I'll be back next week for another great show. So this has been the 58th episode of the Dep Lewis Show. Just thank you as always. Come back next week for episode 59, and this has been another episode of the Dep Lewis Show. See you next week.